Hi, I'm Jordan the Nerd of Gold, and last week I read the latest issue of the Ultimates, and it got me thinking I need to catch up on the rest of the Ultimate series. So I went to Marvel Unlimited, and I caught up on Ultimate Wolverine issues 1 through 8, and then Ultimate X-Men issues 1 through, I think it was like 19 or 20. I could be wrong about which issue that is, but yeah. A lot of the issues are on there. I'm going to start with Ultimate Wolverine. Ultimate Wolverine, the highlight for me is the art. Alessandro, he is so good in creating a moody art that is just so cool looking. I really like that. The story for me is... It's not bad by any means as a Wolverine story. My problem is, as a longtime X-Men fan, it doesn't feel like anything new, and it feels like just a retread of the Weapon X stuff that Wolverine stories tend to continue to go back to, which kind of makes it a little boring. I can see if you're a new reader and you're just reading this for the first time, oh man, this probably hits real hard, and I love that journey for you. But again, as a longtime X-Men fan, this story doesn't really do a lot for me overall, and I don't really understand why so many explicitly American characters are in Russia, and why the mutant resistance is over in Russia. I don't really understand that. It doesn't make a lot of sense to me. I get it, Colossus and Magic, they rule Russia, and it's good guys versus bad guys on that front because they're the bad guys in this universe. But again, they are normally American characters that are explicitly in Russia, and I'm just not clear on why the mutant opposition is happening there and not like in North America. Or I don't get that. But yeah, it's not a bad story by any means. I just don't think it's anything like hugely special beyond the art. Moving on to Ultimate X-Men. Ultimate X-Men, I think, is a fun book, but it is a book I am super glad that I did not read month to month, because it is much more closer to a slice of life manga than it is like a traditional superhero story on that front, which doesn't mean it's a bad story by any means, but the pacing is so radically different from anything in like normal superhero comic books that I can 100% understand many fans' frustration reading it issue to issue on that front. So I'm super glad I was able to like deep dive and read so many issues at once, because it reads so much better on that front. And yeah, I absolutely would have dropped it if I were reading it issue to issue, because yeah, just not a lot always happens in every issue. Peach Momoko's art is beautiful. It is the highlight in the draw for me. That being said, the pacing, while I said it is much closer to a slice of life comic, and I do think that has its appeal to certain audiences, I don't know that it appeals to me directly on that front, and I think that's more of a taste issue on my front rather than it being a structural issue with the comic. It is consistent throughout, so I think that's part of its strength and appeal there. But I gotta say, even like 18 issues into it, I feel like it's just now getting to the good stuff, and we only have like 6 issues left in terms of like the overall story about what is actually happening to the mutants in Japan. And I don't really understand the cult angle myself. I feel like I'm missing something. I know there was a few years ago a big political scandal with a cult and high-ranking conservative Japanese politicians. So I think it's commentary on that with the Children of the Atom and the status of mutants and all that. But I gotta say, it doesn't quite hit for me in the same way that it might for some other people. So I think it's a good story, but it's not my favorite so far. So far, The Ultimates continues to remain my favorite book. I've got to catch up on Ultimate Spider-Man and Black Panther next. I think I'm going to go with Black Panther just because I have only read, I think, 2 issues of that, and then I got sidetracked. So yeah, I'm going to go back and read Black Panther next to see where that fits in my ranking of the Ultimate books.